Welcome back, folks, to another top 10 games that I've beaten. This is the 2022 edition, and it's actually been a while. That one have been kind of busy, but you already know that. And today I'll be trying out a new microphone. It's a cheaper one than my other one, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear me clearer. If not, please let me know in the comments. My hearing is not that great, so I probably won't even tell the difference from my previous videos. Uh, but as always, I like to start out with my honorable mentions. And this is actually, I have three honorable mentions today. The first one is going to be Middle Earth Shadow of War for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and the PC. This is actually a sequel to Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. Pretty much the same dynamics as far as the continuation of storyline. The battle mechanics as well is similar to Batman Arkham games. Very great combat. Love it all. I actually love this one as far as the battle system and better customizations of your troops that you hire. Problem was that I did have some microtransactions issues in the beginning, and grinding is super high in this game. You have to get the best orcs or build up your army as well. It took so long. The story is still great though. I love the story and do love the Lord of the Rings lore itself. Um, so if you did love the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor, I do recommend playing this one. It's a bit longer to complete, especially if you want 100% it, which I did not. But do try it out, as this is one of my top honorable mentions that I beat in 2022. My next honorable mention is actually it's two-parters, Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. Now, I do love the Uncharted series ever since the first one. I have played all of them, the 1, 2, 3, and the PlayStation Vita version, Golden Abyss, I think it was called, and this one as well. This is not my favorite Uncharted, which is why it's very low on my list. Of course, graphically, it was amazing on the PlayStation 4, and the story is great as well. But I think it did have some filler, and it did have some parts that are just very bloated and took too long to finish for my taste. I'd like shorter games when it's action uh, movie like experiences, especially the kid version of Drake, which I think was way too long. They could have shortened it quite a bit more. But I think it is a great ending to Nathan Drake, and I won't say totally ending because it could be a continuation. Um, but I love the storyline. If you did like the Uncharted, and you want to finish it off, do try this one as well. This is the second part. This is a DLC, but also can be played and purchased separately. This is Uncharted Lost Legacy. It's kind of like a prequel to Uncharted 4, slightly, if I recall. It does star Chloe, which is a protagonist from Uncharted 2 that appeared. And I do love Chloe. I love the actress herself. And this one actually it had two protagonists in there, with of course the main villain. But I played this one like more than Uncharted 4, slightly because the storyline was a lot shorter, more condensed, and much more impactful. Even the action sequences itself. Um, but that doesn't take away that Uncharted 4 is bad. It's not. But if you did like Uncharted 4 and want to continue on, do definitely recommend this game as well to play uh, to continue the storyline. So again, this is one of my honorable mentions. And my last honorable mention is Team Sonic Racing. This is actually the first Sonic racing game I've played, and actually I did adore it a lot. I wish it was at my top 10, but just barely made it to the number 10 spot. Only because another game I did like right slightly above it, and I do actually don't want to spoil it, but I do have another kart racer on my top 10. And I already want two of them on there. If you really want to try something different than a Mario Kart or a Crash or other cartoon racers, this one is a blast to do. Even though there is a new one out, the Cross Worlds, which I hear is a lot better. But if you want to try this one out first at a discounted price, go ahead and do so. It does have ground, aerial, and water vehicles that automatically transform themselves to it. It was a lot of fun. I loved it much. At my number 10 spot, and sorry I couldn't find a better trailer for this, and I didn't really want to use my review that I made 3 years ago in 2022 about this because it's more off camera screen. But this is Breath of Fire 3, and I've played the PSP version. This game, I will say, maybe not my top or even top 20 RPGs that I played, but it's still very good. Um, I did my first this is my first Breath of Fire game, so I never played one and two. But I did like the storyline. Storyline was great, I gotta say, and the character designs, the characters themselves are all nicely touched. The move set as well. What they didn't like is they had way too many mini games, and some of the mini games are required to progress in the story. And I don't want to go too into it because it is in my review. Please watch that if you want more detail about it. But again, this is my number 10 in my games that I beat in 2022. I do recommend try it out if you want to try a different type of turn-based RPG. At my number 9 is Lego City Undercover. First came out on the Wii U, then eventually ported up to other consoles, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I do recommend. I do love the Lego games. I haven't played all of them. I probably played a few bunch, probably about 6 or 7 of them, and mostly tie-ins to movies like Lord of the Rings, um, the Jurassic Park. I can't remember if I played that one, but the Star Wars ones I played, of course, all three of them, the trilogies, and a few other Lego games as well. Lego DC as well. This one, I gotta say, for being an original storyline, it is great. I do love the story in this one, the humor itself, and voice acting is spot on for almost every character. It is open world, so you do travel to a very large city, and not super large, but large enough. And I would say slightly GTA style, but not without the criminal aspect, because you are a cop, undercover cop. And like I said, do try this out. If you love collectibles, this has so many that I think I barely scratched 10% of them through many hours of the game, which I already finished and I replayed every storyline again to try to 100% it each story, but I couldn't. Collectibles are way too much. If you want to try it out, go ahead and do so. At my number 8 spot is Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. This is the first in the series, and I didn't have high expectations of this game. But it really kind of blew me away. It is not much as far as gameplay itself. You do have one weapon in the game for the most part, and very linear as well itself, with little exploration just to some get some collectibles. It does have quite a bit of puzzles, but the puzzles are very intuitive as far as like opening up different, uh, moving on to the next part of the level. Combat is very basic, very simple. So only like dodge, roll, and a couple swings, heavy and light. That's about it. But I will say the story is what really immerses you into the game. And this is actually one of the first games I can always recommend to play with headphones the first time. It deals with kind of like anxiety and mental health and hearing voices in your head, which actually translates well with headphones because you're actually hearing it in your head. So of course, play this one first before you play the second one. Um, Again, I really adore this game. I actually want to replay it again eventually to 100% it. But do try it out if you want to get to immerse into a great story. And again, play with headphones. It's the best way to play the first time. At my number 7 spot is Everspace, which I played on a PlayStation 4 and I believe it's out for the Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. This is a space 3D space shooter. Very open areas, but very small areas. It is a rogue light in that sense that every time you play a level, or if you die and you start over in a different mission, because actually I think it's phases as far as 3 or 4 missions per planet, and it changes the environment as far as where locations are and slightly what tasks you have to do in that mission. But pretty much it is repetitive in some ways. You do mine to earn credits to purchase better weapons, better upgrades for your ship, and to progress forward in the game. You really need that stuff to progress because it does get very hard, very difficult. It is a single player game. You, like I said, fly through these open areas. It kind of reminds me of Colony Wars as far as the gameplay itself, only with better customizations. But I'll say the storyline I think was better in Colony Wars for the PlayStation 1. They did make a sequel to this. I haven't played it yet. And this game is replayable because you do get slightly different endings, and you can actually get different kinds of ships as well. So you want to try out 3D Space Shooter for a cheap, low price, and before playing the sequel, do try this out. And again, like I said, it's a roguelite, so the levels do change, and some slightly tasks do change for every single mission that you take on until you get to the final battle, which is I think that was the only mission that actually stays the same no matter how many times you play it. So try it out. At number six is Blaster Master Zero, which is out for the PlayStation, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. And I played the original Blaster Master on Nintendo system, NES, back in the day, but I never finished it. I only got so far because it was difficult. So I was very anxious to play this one because this is like one of my top 10 music soundtracks of the NES days. And I do love it. I play it like once a week. I actually have it as a ringtone as well. It is a side scroller, but you actually can switch between human and vehicle. The human part is actually more of overhead top, where you play in these dungeons to fight enemy bosses to kill, to progress in the levels. When you get in the vehicle, you can turn to a side scroller with platforming, and it's actually more of a tank car, where you can go progress through the missions and find out to actually rescue your frog, which actually got into a tunnel. And I don't want to get too much detail in the story, but this one actually has additional cutscenes and characters you can pick from. I still haven't played two and three, but I do look forward to playing those. Try out if you want to try out side scroller. At number five is Diablo 3 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. This is the first Diablo game I ever played. I have played dungeons crawler games, action RPG dungeon crawlers before, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, and others for the PlayStation 3, 2, and the Vita. But I gotta say, this is our first Diablo game, and wow, I was very impressed as far as customizations for each character, and also that each character is practically all different as well. Um, it is very difficult because you can actually pick multiple difficulty levels. I think it was like almost 12 difficulty levels, but the higher ones are more like permadeath. So if you die, you start back to level one, and that is a major grind, and only for the hardcore players. It does have multiplayer. You can actually play multiple people at once in the same levels. It actually is a more isometric, open area type game with multiple dungeons. Pretty much all linear. They're linear as far as what you have to do and do in each mission. So it's not roguelike. Um, I do love it. Try it out. Want to try out Diablo games? At my number four spot is Hollow Knight for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and I believe it's out for the Switch as well. This is a side scroller platformer game, and very difficult. I don't want to use the term Souls like, but man, the bosses and even some of the main small creatures are so difficult to kill, and you can get beat up pretty fast and easy. It does have a Metroidvania type feel, which is what I loved about it so much. You do have to actually unlock different sections of the map to progress to different parts of the level, and there's a lot of backtracking, but it is fun backtracking because you actually will get a lot more stuff, find out new enemies, new areas, new secrets. It does have a few collectibles. The main part is just the animation. It is so beautifully animated itself. There's not really any voice talking because they're all bugs, but they do speak in their own language, which is still fun and great itself. I would say if you like Metroidvanias, for one that's very difficult but fun to play, do try this out, especially before the sequel, which is Silk Song. Which I didn't 100% it, but I will say if you are that type of person that wants pain in your game, do 100% this game. But I would say it's a lot of fun for Metroidvania fans. And my number three spot is Crash Team Racing Nitro-fueled for the PlayStation 4. I played the original Crash Team Racing, and I repurchased it for the PS1 emulation on Vita and PS3, and I've beaten it there. So then I wanted to play it again on the newer version. Oh my God, it is night and day as far as enhancements. The controls are almost exactly identical, and I gotta say, it looks beautiful, fun to play, multiplayer, split screen, online mode. This is everything person will want as far as a kart racer itself, and I will say it does stay up toe with Mario Kart. You know, I never played Mario Kart past Mario Kart Wii. That's as far as I've gotten. So I know Mario Kart World. I mean, 8 is probably the best out there, but this is a definitely runner up. So do try it out if you want to play a kart racer that's different. It does take a lot of skills. We do a lot of drifting to control the cars, but it is fun to play. At my number two spot is Fallout 4, which is out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and actually there's an enhanced editions for the Xbox Series and the PlayStation 5 versions. Um, Game save does transfer over, but the achievement total progress I believe does not. So you actually have to play the game all over again if you want to receive your achievements and trophies. Now I am a big Fallout fan. Fallout 3 was my first one that I played, and Fallout New Vegas is the second one I played, and this is the third one I played. And I gotta say, this one to me is like just identical to Fallout 3 as far as pacing, environments, just much more pretty, of course. And you do have base building as well, which I didn't enjoy too much. Eventually, I got slightly into it, but it is required if you want to get 100% achievements. I only beat in the game twice. Once, this is the first time I've beaten in 2022, and I've beaten it again second time in 2025. Both from a reload, from a save near the ending, so I can actually change the outcome. Um, which I recommend to do so. Follow a guide if you want to see all the endings. I gotta say, if you do love the Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, do try this one out as well, but don't expect a huge advancement as far as gameplay. The story is slightly different, but it's not much of a difference. It is nuclear Fallout. So do try it out, especially now with the TV show out there. I would say this is a great starting point if you don't want to start with Fallout 3, but I do recommend playing Fallout New Vegas because that storyline is amazing. So this is my number two. At my number one spot is Horizon Zero Dawn for the PlayStation 4. I know recently it has a remaster on the PlayStation 5, but I believe either one you can play because I did play this on my PS5 and it did enhance it a bit, so it played just great there. So to me, I don't think you even need to get the remastered one unless you're dying to get 4K 60 frames per second itself. Um, this one also blew me away. At first, I didn't have too much expectations on it, and it did start out as a slow pace as well until you build up and get familiar with the environment, the weaponry, and how to maneuver. It is a open world, third person, I would say, adventure game, action adventure, where you actually are in a future apocalypse where mankind has been slightly devolved to tribes and villages, and robots have taken over the world. They don't know why, but Aloy, which is the main protagonist, has some kind of connection to it and figures out that she wants to find out why these robots are here and delves deep into why these robots are here and where you are in this planet. Which I'm not gonna spoil itself because the storyline is pretty good itself. There's a sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, which I haven't tried yet, but I will say do start out with this one. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it itself. If you like third person action adventure, mostly with the bow and arrow. That's your main weapon. You do have a melee weapon, but it's not really used much unless you're up close. So that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it was overshadowed by Breath of the Wild and Nintendo when they both came out around the same time. But this is a great game if you like open world games. So it is beautiful to look at. I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't 100% it yet. I have to get New Game Plus, but I'm almost there. Again, thank you all for watching. This is my 2022 top 10 games that I've beaten. And I want to thank you all for watching again and supporting me throughout all these years. I do still wish I can get a PC to better edit and make my videos and my voice better with a real microphone. But again, thank you for supporting me. And actually, hopefully, I get one so I can make these videos a lot better.